I think we've established that all of this is based on a lot of things that has preceded it. The question I would ask, were there ideas before the Kawaida and the Us organization? Yes. And that is the culture throughout Africa itself. The Kwanzaa means first fruit. Remember, there's a whole term, for that, meaning the first fruit. You can't have fruit unless you planted it, cultivated it, worked on it, and then harvested it. And once you harvested it, the work is done. Kwanzaa is about the harvest of the work you've done. And what work have we done for the community, our community? And then once I do my community, then I can do what? I can do the larger community.
Right.
But I got to do my community first. I got to take care of my house, my home first. If I'm in an airplane and the oxygen mask drops, who do I have to put it on first? I'm holding a baby. Who do I have to put it on first? I have to put it on me. If I put it on the baby and the baby's there, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I have to know the rules of survival for my community. And I gotta take care of me and my community in order to my community to come together, Kujichagulia, and Umoja and Ujima, collective work and responsibility, Ujimana economic thing, have them come together to even go to the larger community. So I'm saying that we have to really understand that when we're talking, from what I understand it, about community, we're talking and creativity. We're talking about creativity for our community,
Right.
and that is the sense that I'm talking about. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
So then we can light now from Umoja down to Kuumba, which is the creativity. But we're talking about creativity for the community,
Right.
our community. And we don't have to put a descriptive adjective on it, meaning the black community, the Afrocentric community, the colored community. We don't have to do that because we know when we say community, what we're talking about.
We're talking about, right. But I got some bad news though.
What?
Our whole conversation was
What do you say?
the whole conversation. It was on the mic was off.
Well,
I just turned it on, but we ain't do the light yet. So let's go.
That's okay. We're ready to do the light.
But hey, so we did the lighting yesterday, but it was not recorded. So somebody broke in and stole all our stuff. Hey, we gonna replace all that. It's cool. Listen. Huh?
What you talking?
Talking to the community.
I thought you said it wasn't on.
It's on now.
Oh, it's on now.
I told you on now. I came on this. Don't laugh, man. That ain't what. Hey.
Can I get you? Can I get you in it? And I go. Now notice we also want to point out two very important things that we know when we're celebrating Kwanzaa. Okay, in our community, you will always see the red, black, and green, and the black, red, and green flag. That lets you know for a fact that we're in our community because that's what we're representing, our community. And that doesn't mean that we can't represent us, but right now we're talking about the fruit of our labor is the red, black, and green, and the black, red, and green in our community. All right. So we want to lift it up together there and say we light this candle in the name of Fuji Chaka. Oh, is it Fuji Chaka? No, it's well, where we is that?
We on Kuumba.
Yeah.
We light this candle in the name of Kuumba.
Right. For the community.
For the community.
Yeah, we want to be clear that we're talking about for our community.
Anyway, somebody broke in yesterday and took all of our equipment. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and they stole the lighters too.
Yeah, but the lighter was just a representation.
Right.
Yeah. But let's talk about the community again. Are we clear on the community?
Yeah, we clear.
But when Dr. Karanga and the US organization, and when Karanga and the US organization in Kwanzaa, and Dr. Marie Kelsey, whose name we've definitely should have been mentioned all week, um, what community were they talking about?
I can see.
Because remember, this actually started in 1965. That's when the Kawaida and the US organization started. The first Kwanzaa was done in 1966. I heard the people on the television today said the first Kwanzaa was in 1996. Now they might have been talking about the first Kwanzaa in Cucamonga. I don't know where
It
it
could have been Kukumanga.
huh?
Yeah, Kukumanga.
I don't know what you're talking about. So if somebody wanted to find out about Kwanzaa and they Google it, what you think that they would Google?
I mean, we can find it out right now. We can just Google it.
No, we're fine. It was Channel 10. I know who it was.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, it's in the community right now. So if it's in the community, I think the understanding is I can talk to anybody in the community and get that information. It's not like, whoa, wait a minute, like it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. But let me talk to the African Center for Study and Worship. Let me talk to APDS. And let me talk to the Tawi Family Village or Imani, the answer. I think that's my question.
It's
It's
like
proved to the point now that the community is not just the African centered community. Is it moved to the point when they say community now, they mean the community at large?
I don't know.
What do you think, G? When you hear that, when you hear the television say the community and Kwanzaa for the community, what do you think they're speaking specifically about? And do our folks even want to hear that? The black community,
Who's the value that you're saying is speaking about it?
let's say the newscast, the Channel 10, the ones who are broadcasting the Kwanzaa is out. And they say they meaning the Channel 10, Channel 6, Channel 4, Channel 42. Now, wait a minute. Remember, most folks aren't even watching those. Most folks are on the internet.
On the internet.
So,
So
what is the internet saying
What's Google?
when it says they? So that was my question. We don't know. That's what I'm saying. We have to find out, because when we say the community, we're talking about our community. But when maybe, but when some other folks talk about, when church folks talk about the community, they know they're talking about what?
The church.
The church community. That when
I'm talking about those Christians that think like me.
right, right. So when we talk about the Iguza Saba and Kwanzaa and other stuff, and we're talking about the Kwanzaa community, what community are we I'm trying to understand. And we're talking about it that it's moved into what I call the public domain, where anybody can say community and they have access to.
No, I don't think. Actually, I can't let it get that way. Maybe after I'm dead, but it can't be that way. Because I'm one to believe in. We come from a community of master, where mastery meant something. So I can't allow somebody to come into something that I've been harping and talking about and doing, and just take it over. It's like the Juneteenth celebration.
Oh,
no, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We've been doing Juneteenth for a long time. Once it became a federal thing and all of a sudden everybody wanted to get involved,
right,
we kind of moved to something else. We can do our Juneteenth. We can do our Juneteenth. We can do like we doing this ritual here because this is ours.
right. So in the scheme of things, here's what we're saying. In order for us to take ownership of what we're doing, we do it in our homes first. That's why we're here. This is our home. Now, when we go outside of our home, the first thing that we have to establish is the building that we're doing it in. Because the building that we're doing it in, folks will recognize that as your home. Because the building you're doing it in, they have ownership of the say so because it's their building.
They control the space and time.
That's right. And now, if you're renting the building from them, you still have to go by the building's rules of rentership. You still don't own that building. Now, if you're outside, you can pitch a tent and you own the what? You own that tent. And so anything that you do up in there, folks automatically say, ah, that's yours because you own it. So if I'm in a building, you pick the name of building, any building you name, if I'm holding something in that building, people will get the understanding that that ownership belongs to that building.
Right.
Even if you're holding it there.
No, but that's why a lot of times you will hear people say the views expressed here are not necessarily the views of.
Yeah.
With that being said, we don't own the internet.
Yeah, you own your own home.
No, you don't own the internet, but you own the territory in which you establish on the internet. For example, go ahead.
People could take what they're seeing right now and recreate what we're doing.
Right. On their shit.
If I'm renting,
but on Geometry Journey, they can't do it.
Right. If I'm renting the building, there has to be a what?
A lease.
And what's that called?
A legal document, right? A contract.
Now, in that contract, when I'm negotiating that contract, I'm negotiating that contract from my point of view and my ownership. In that contract negotiation, if the building owner is saying I must do this, this, and this, and that runs contrary to my system and my belief system, I'm not renting it from you. I can go somewhere else.
I mean, the contracts ultimately are civil agreements.
Right.
But civility isn't the end all be all.
No, but it is the contract. But it is.
No, I mean, hey, come on now. You do a West Asian philosophy. You're right, because civility is not
right
the basis of contract.
But
violence, the ability to operate in violence,
right,
is what.
And that's why I agree with you because the contract, I'm agreeing with you because the contract of the Emancipation Proclamation could not be instituted unless the troops went on the property and actually instituted. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm totally agreeing with you. And I'm saying that if I'm signing this contract with you, that you have to understand that if I'm not negotiating, I'm not agreeing with things that you want me to do, I have the ability to say, no, I'm not doing that. And we'll back that up with not doing it. We do that. We've done that in years past. But what I'm trying to get at, if I own my own building, then my building is associated with the event that I'm holding because it's my building. And people get to understand, it's your building. So any building that I'm holding something in, people associate that with the community. And I think that's what we're trying to, not us, but I guess that's what's being tried to establish now in what is called the Bronzeville area. Everybody here familiar with Bronzeville area?
Yes, sir.
You familiar with the Bronzeville area? Right. But do you know the whole area?
My brother is different. Brownsville is Long Street, right?
No, that whole area is Bronzeville. The gateway to Bronzeville is the King Lincoln District. And the King Lincoln District runs from once you cross that bridge where those pictures and stuff are.
Right.
Once you cross that bridge, the gateway is Lincoln Theater.
Okay.
That's the entrance. Across the street from that is the Andy Walker Plaza. Before you get to those now, the funeral home used to be there.
It's still there.
No, that's being torn down.
Stop playing.
It's a part of them.
What?
No, they're gonna build there.
Stop.
It's currently a
I'm about to drive by there. I just seen the goddamn. We was just over there. I'm sorry. We was just over there on
It's
the
being
road.
renovated. That there's gonna be
They tore
something
down the funeral home.
that's gone. They moved. Deal with it. It's gone. They moved.
Wow.
Just like the bar that was on the
The candy
corner.
bar?
There used to be
Candy
on the
bar is
corner.
not gone.
No, not that bar.
Oh.
The one that's on the corner where the bank is now. Right on the corner across from the Lincoln Theater. The jazz bar that used to be where you go upstairs.
Okay.
You remember that? Remember that one? Yeah, that's where the A&B Walker Plaza starts.
Okay.
That whole area is being renovated. That leads to the Point Dexter Village.
Right.
You understand where I'm going with this? That goes all the way down to Broadway. It goes all the way down to the end point is East High School.
Okay.
East High School, and the other one is the library, the Martin Luther King Library.
Okay.
It goes across, I forget that street, that goes across past the hospital,
Right.
in front of the hospital, goes all the way to the freeway, and it turns and goes back up to the big church.
Mm-hmm.
What is the name of that big church? I forgot the name. Mount Olive or something like
Something
that.
like that.
The big one. Then it comes back across where the Amos Lynch Plaza is,
Okay.
which is part of the King Arts Complex, which then goes back over to the Lincoln Theater.
Those are like City of Columbus definitions. But if I'm talking to my friends in the 90s and I'm like, where you at? I'm in Mount Vernon, not on Mount Vernon. I'm in Mount Vernon.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what we're talking about. You named the community your way, and you said it exactly. What did you just say when you said that? When you started, you said when you talking to your friends, you do it. But the city of Columbus says what? They got it on Mount Vernon.
They call it
Exactly.
The district. We don't use words.
I'm so glad you said it like that, because that's what we're talking about. The community. We're naming the community this way, and someone else may be naming the community that way. What we're saying is we're going by our definition. That's what I'm trying to establish. We're saying. And inside of this quote unquote King Lincoln district is 3 or 4. Guess what else is there? That used to be the crown jewel of this area. Mount Vernon Plaza. Okay? And they don't even speak of that almost anymore. And guess what is in the lobby? I mean, downstairs, in the lobby of the Mount Vernon Plaza. A thing that was put in by Elder Betty Stalls and some other artists called the Gate of No Return. It's a sculpture made of metal that represented Goree Island and that gate that you go through or our culture went through. And then we were supposed to never return. A replica of that is inside the King Arts complex. Whenever I do an event,
Mount Vernon Plaza. You talking about behind the Mount Vernon Plaza?
it's inside the courtyard
Okay.
of Mount Vernon Plaza.
So you talking about in the back where you go and there was the old people's home and you had
Sitting right in front of the old people's home was a waterfall,
right.
And a thing. That sculpture is on top of that waterfall.
Right.
It's the gate of no return. Whenever I do something for the Maroon Arts Group, the King Arts Complex, the Lincoln Theater, or any of our family stuff like you saying, I go through that gate. Let me know that we have returned. Now the people in the complex
Don't know.
think that was donated by Buster Douglas for his mom. Now that's down the street further. It's the Jesus thing, down there. But
I know
but they think that is there. So you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm so glad you said what you said. we do have an understanding in our community of what we're talking about. And what I was trying to clear up, and you made it very clear, is that the city and others, they have another nomenclature. And some of our folks, we have to understand, is not going to listen to what we're saying, is going to listen to, and I'm saying we can't get rattled by that. We have to understand that we know what we're talking about. And as we're talking to our children or our youth, we got to let them know of the two worlds.
Mm.
Because if they only hear ours and don't understand when somebody starts to explain the other one, like, do they know about Bronzeville? Do they know about the Poindexter Village? And do they know the Poindexter Village came after the Blackberry Pact? And that both of those were connected to World War. The Blackberry Pact to World, from what I understand, World War One, and Poindexter Village, World War Two. And it was probably a village connected to the Sioux. So these kind of histories and our connection to the community, our community, like you said, all of y'all, any of y'all in here remember us driving around in Franklin Park with the cars?
That happened after I came here. That
I
stopped.
mean, that was years ago.
Right.
We had
The man full blowing up.
hadn't been in there in a long time. I mean, in that capacity. It's now of something else. At the Dunbar Center, that was over on what's that road over there? Nelson Road, the Dunbar Center, which is next to the String and Bridge. That's where the jazz musicians used to practice. That's where the African dance and stuff used to practice. That's where a lot of concert stuff used to practice over there. And when that burned down, I mean, it's our community. And so, like you said, we call it one thing, and like folks used to call up and try to find the Afrocentric school. The people downtown couldn't find it because they never changed the name from Mohawk downtown. They still had it down there as Mohawk. That's when it was downtown. Um, uh, down on Livingston Avenue. Now it's way out on James Road. So we do have the understanding that we know what the community is, but what I'm trying to be very understanding and sensitive to the fact that there are other things at work that says no, the community doesn't mean just your folks and your understanding. The community means everybody. And I think that that's what I'm trying to get the understanding is that when we like uh Kuumba, because it says be creative in creating and maintaining the community. But most of the time when we talk about creativity, we talk about art. Fine, but we can talk about art in any of them.
So let me ask you, so you saying like the community then is, we represent maybe even this culture is the protectors of the community. I like to say brown people. And
Yeah, fine. Yeah,
so even people that don't participate in this culture but share our lineage,
that's
that's
what
still our community.
that's what some folks are saying. And I'm saying before we can go outside of that and share with other stuff, we have to understand and know it ourselves.
Right.
A lot of our people can't. A lot of our people can't even tell when they go to the map. Our young folks, they don't know the difference between South America and Africa. They can't. When you ask them to find Africa on it. So the question is, if we only understand ourselves as being from this land, is America. Which America? North America. Because there's three Americas. Is North America, Central America, and South America. All this land was done by Spain and Portugal. Portugal and Spain, because Portugal did it first, then Spain. Britain didn't get it till after the Armada of Spain was defeated on land. But they had already got all the land from Florida all the way up to the West Coast and inside. Had all of this land. And the British rule did not start until after they had conquered it. So some of our folks may believe that this is the only land that we have, is this land here. But there are those of us who believe that no, we had a culture and a heritage and an understanding prior to coming here. And that's what we're reaching back. The Kawaii is saying, Kwanzaa is saying, because Kwanzaa came out of the Kawaii, and Mariba and other scholars are saying, oh no, this is where you were before you came here, and you can reach back and do that. For instance, um, a lot of the symbols for let me be specific, and I hope I'm not being disrespectful. When you go through the Christmas season, for some of us, it's not Christmas until you hear certain songs. And it's like, hang on the Christmas time, on the winter time, it's Christmas. I mean, it's back in my day, it was Nat King Cole. Just sings chestnuts roasting on the open. Even though it was in a larger thing, it didn't come home until the community that I lived in embraced it with that understanding, that song, and stuff like that. So that's what we're talking about. That doesn't mean once I got my stuff together, I can't go out in the other communities and embrace them. Oh yeah, that's mine. But first, I have to embrace the understanding inside of my own community that I have. Like when Alvin and the Chipmunks come out, I ain't got no relationship to Alvin and the Chipmunks. I mean, I really didn't.
My concern is, but
Yeah, go ahead.
But Tim often says that if you, people are talking about the future are creating the future. And I don't hear us talking about the future ever, Hardy. And the future is upon us.
The future is not only upon us. Now, you brought up a totally interesting understanding because most of the people that I understand is not talking with people about the future. They're talking to AI. And they're talking about AI, talking to AI about the future. When we say AI in this family, we say ancestor intelligence. When them folks out there talk about AI, they're talking about artificial intelligence. So we have to understand we're taking our understanding and embracing that too. But the future, like you said, is definitely here. And not only is it definitely here, it's been here for a minute. And how do we operate with that?
The future is more there. Like I'm 40, and you know what I'm saying. I'm at the top of the hill at best. If I'm not on my way down the other side.
Oh, okay.
I'm really interested in what they think about.
Right. Let me explain this first. We are the tree. At the tree, there is the roots. Then there's the trunk. Then there's the leaves and the branches that are in the environment that is changing the tree for the seeds that's coming out that gets blown somewhere else. What you're talking about is exactly right, but you're part of the future as well because the DNA, if you want to use those terms, of you and me and is in that future. It's there. And how they're going to take it and react with it as a seed, we may not understand it at first. Well, first we look at it and go like, whoa, what's going on? But it's there. So yeah, that's why they're sitting here so comfortable. And they've been uh, involved. And remember, over for my age, I'm in the 80s. I because I'm so close to leaving. I'm like going like they're so far away from leaving. Is their actions is what's doing it. And for me, it's the talking. You're right in the middle, so you're seeing both sides. You're like right here, like, well, you understand what I'm saying? You're right in both sides. If you're at that thing where you can see their side, you can see my side. The future is guaranteed by who? By both of us. Because in our understanding, it's a circle. Like, look over here on see that thing over there? That is one of the diagrams that has been put up by I'm not mistaken, that's Bruce Carter's work. And it talks about the circle. And the future is guaranteed. But the question is, do we understand the future that we're in it or we're not in it? And I don't know. So they talk, and when they talk, sometimes I don't know what they talk about, but I have faith. Mm. My faith is based on knowledge. The knowledge that I've seen them do things that says to me, oh, they got this.
Faith is the last step. Like unity is first. Like faith without unity is a joke. You know, like faith necessitates self-determination, which determines collective personal responsibility, then cooperative economics. You know,
is unity a constant or a verb?
Well, from the Christian faith that I was raised in, faith is the only thing. The other six is just missing, and then it's just faith and faith. We got faith and faith.
So let me. Where's hand me that the lantern there. Close it. Yeah. So what you're talking about? We went through this. Watch this. Is this light on or off?
It's on. Yes, sir.
Is this light on or off? It's on. We're saying it's on.
Just because you can't see it, don't mean it's not there.
Is it on or off? Now, in the faith that you're talking about, we're based on the faith with knowledge, and that's our faith. And we're based that on the fact that it's like the sun. Just because we can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not shining somewhere else at night and it's on. So we're saying this is on. But somebody else may say, no, it turned off. We're saying it's on. And so we have to establish our faith and our understanding in our community based on the knowledge that what we represent is that if there's up, there's down, if there's in, there's out, if there's left, there's right, if there's day, there's night, and they exist together and they work together. That's what we're saying. And that's the unity. And that's the understanding. Now, if I'm looking at it from a northern perspective of either or, I'm either right and you're wrong. We're not looking at it like that. We're looking at it from a balanced perspective. Even though we can't see the understanding, we understand it. Do I have faith in you? Yes. What has gave me that faith in you? I have observed you. And my observation of the things that you've done over when you said you were going to do this, you were going to do that, you did it. When you said that this was, you did it. So my faith in you is that you do what you say you're going to do. Now, could my faith be like when you say you're going to do something, you don't do it? Yeah, I can have faith in that too. Because if you're that kind of person, you say you're going to do it, but you don't do it, then my faith is back in you. But it's still my faith in you based on the observation. We know this is on. In our community, this is on. If we never light Umoja, is it lit? Yes, because the light is here. The light is with us. It doesn't have to go there. We only go there because we're caught up in this thing of ritual, ceremony, and all this kind of stuff. So we bring this visible understanding to the understanding that we have inside of us. And it's kind of hard to explain what's inside of us. Does the Umoja light candle represent our community? Yes. Does Kujichagulia represent our community? Yes. Does Ujima, Ujaman, Nia, Kuumba, and Imani, does that represent our community? Yeah. Yes. Why? Because we said so. Is the light on? Yeah. Yes. Why? Because we said so. Not I, we. So that's what we're looking at as far as this understanding that we have. Are we included with others? Of course we are. We don't live in no vacuum or no island, but we have to take care of ourselves first. As Umoja, when the conch shell is blown The drum call, we come together, the in gathering. Oh, we come together. And when we come together, we already understand that the different experiences from the different places, the north, the south, the east, the west, whatever, we're coming together. And what are we doing? We're celebrating one of the indigenous symbols that is called a coma in Tulsa. Each of us have a different understanding about what we see and what we've experienced. But we're going to come together and come to an agreement on what that is. Our understanding is going to help us come to that agreement. We're going to discuss it, but we're going to come to that. And that's what we're doing about community right now. Now, the young folks, they definitely got this on lockdown. What's sitting between us right now? The ancestor case. So the whole time we've been talking, the ancestor case has been sitting there in the ancestor chair, and we are the understanding, just like that light, they're there. Now, that's our understanding. So we're about ready to, wrap up. And the other thing that we would say, that when we're holding Kwanzaa, when somebody's holding Kwanzaa, unless you see the red, black, and green, or the black, red, and green, that may not be our community.
Mm.
And we have to accept that. Oh, they just holding Kwanzaa.
What's the difference between those two? Is there
The black, red, and green was originally where when Mosiah Marcus Garvey went to Africa and saw the flag there, it was black, red, and green. It meant like black was Cincinnati, red was like Columbus, and green would be Ohio, I mean not Ohio, but Cleveland. So it meant the land, right? But it was Africa, in Africa. When he came back and did that, Marcus Garvey changed the color order to red, black, and green because we were fighting for our existence and understanding here. So the bloodshed became first of our people, and then the reward because we were rewarded for our bloodshed. Then later on, as Kwanzaa came out on page 76 in that book, Mulana Paranga and the US organization of the Kawaida changed the color for them back to black, red, and green. Because he was saying at this time, now the black people are coming first, the blood, and then the relationship. Also, the order of the candles might have been, altered depending on the era. Just like you were saying, with certain air after a certain amount of time, the new group comes in and they like, look, but the root is still there. And what were you getting ready to say?
to me, it just feels like the blood is exposed. I feel safer when the blood is protected by the lens black.
Uh-huh.
I feel safer in that one. I feel like
Yeah, well, remember, this one came out of this one. That's see, as long as you understand the root of something, it gets you to understand its, what is it called? Tradition and reason. Tradition is its root. Reason is how it had to deal with the new environment. This is the tradition. This is the new environment. Then it went back to its tradition.
it's a lot of blood.
Yeah, because they were fighting here. And this one is only applicable to North America because they were because of the I don't know if you're familiar with the Garvey movement. Yeah, okay. Well, that's why this one was real significant. Out of Marcus Garvey movement, you had others. If you look that up, you see what came out of that, the other movements that came out of that. But he got that from, this was the actual one from the continent itself. And then it was this one. And now you're absolutely right because this one became the crying or the flag here in America. But at the same time, those who don't know, it comes out of this tradition. And the US organization went back to this tradition, which means that when you see their flag, as it lays across the table like this, like this, because when it stands up like that. And so this one is the same. As it lays across the table like this, when it stands up, it stands like that. And that's why we have both, because we know the tradition and we know the reason. So I'm going to put those back and then we get ready to go because it's time to make that move. What other color do you think they added with that? Those, the black, red, and green, and the red, black.
What color they had?
Yeah,
Yellow.
there you go. There you go. And there's a whole understanding behind why yellow. Okay, and there's another in our circle of the sun as it travels. We have another color that we add, and that is white. And the sun starts in the morning in the black and it comes up, right? Which we call sunrise. That's why we're here. When it reaches its apex at the top at noon, it's red. Then it starts its descent down, and that is white. When it's in the African culture, that's kind of like transition or death. Then it goes down under where you can't see it. Is it still on? Yes. When it gets down, all that stuff that it learned that day, down directly above the red, directly above the red is the yellow on the bottom, and that's when it changes to that for the new day to come up again. That would be that circle. So thank you. That the colors for that. So because in Africa, because of the skin, when folks die or made transition, you know, their skin turned ashy, real ashy. So that was the reason for that. Oops. So thanks a lot. So the community creativity for the community, what we were talking about, we're basing a lot of our stuff on the kawaida that Kwanzaa came out of. We also definitely want to give that understanding of Dr. Marie Kelsey.
All right.
And
You doing
thank
Harambe?
you for your input. Huh?
You doing Harambe?
Yeah, want to wait till Cleve comes back?
Cleve,
Where's he? Okay, let's do him
he in
now.
bathroom. He ain't never come back.
Okay, well, let's do him now. Somebody help me up. Oh, thank you. Okay. What's that? Is that
My water bottle.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, come on. Come on, baby. Y'all do it. Ready?
Yeah, kids put a water bottle. You know what Harambe means, right?
Yeah.
Pull together. Oh, who leads?
Gina, ready? Harambe, 1. Harambe, 2. Harambe, 3. Harambe, 4. Harambe, 5. Harambe.
Okay, thanks.
You did?